The resurrection of whom? Right. Okay. But the first resurrection was the resurrection of Harun. Harus. Right?
What's up?
Harun had a resurrection.
Harun? Wow.
Resurrection. Yeah. Say like, because what we're dealing with, like, we're dealing with like Easter. Y'all notice that Easter come like from March the 22nd to April the, I think like the 5th or maybe the 7th. You notice that? Like each year it changes, right?
Yes, sir.
Like say for instance, my little thing is this in the barbershop. I say Billy Bob got killed on March the 22nd, 2009. The next year, 2010, March the 22nd, is his anniversary of what? His death. Right. And the next year after that, March the 22nd is what? The anniversary of the death.
Yes.
So how come the Christ story of Easter, of the resurrection, is not the same day, right?
Yes.
It's always different.
Yes, sir.
Some people say because they try to get it on Sunday. Some people say because of Constantine, he made it on the second Sunday, something like that, after Easter. But it's not none of that. It's about what? Celestial, right? That's why I do this little party. It's not long. But what happened is that, let's say this first too. You got Easter eggs, right? Right? You got the bunny. You got cards and stuff, you know, they give us. So, Osiris at one time was represented as the half, right?
Yes.
Y'all know that, right?
Yes, sir.
So that represents, and then his body was cut up into 14 pieces, and when Isis went down, or Aset went down to get the pieces, they were scattered all around, and the children was on the island, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when the children came towards her, she asked them, have you seen the body of Osiris? They say, no, it's cut up, but we'll show you where the body parts is. What is that? The little Easter egg hunt. You see what I'm saying? How they take it from our stories, you see what I'm saying?
Yes,
but
sir.
still, that was just on this form, on this level.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? But see, what the Egyptians were dealing with was the resurrection, the death and the resurrection of Haru, which is Haru is represented what? The sun.
Yes, sun, yes.
The sun.
S-U-N.
The S-U-N, not the S-O-N. Right. All right, so this is what I just drew here. This is the sun. This is the equator, right?
Yes.
As the sun comes up, but everybody knows the sun don't move, you know, but this is just, you know, how it is. As the sun goes up here, right, and this is the crater, right, it crosses over it goes up here, right, see? Now, as it goes up, see this equator here? It crosses, this here is darkness, represents death. Alright? Represents death. Now, it dies as it goes up on the cross. See the cross?
Yes, sir.
And as it goes over the cross, right here, it rises. It's the birth of the what?
Sun.
The sun, the S-U-N. And it happens because you had to have 2 full moons. In between those 2 full moons, you have a Passover and an equinox, right? Equinox represents, I think they went, what, equinox was last Sunday? When do you give up palm plants? Last Sunday? That's equinox. You know, it was when, a couple weeks? Last
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Right, 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago, okay.
Right.
That's when they gave out the palm plants?
No, last week.
That was last
That
week,
was
okay.
last week.
Okay.
Around the same time.
At the same time, okay, it was. Well, the palm plant represents the equinox. Because the equinox is what? The same amount of day that you have night, which represents 12/12, right? So, anybody ever see the plant, how the plant look?
It's equal on
The
both
palm
sides.
plant. It's the palm plant. On each side, it's equal. That's just symbolic. That's all that is. People say Jesus was riding a donkey when he rode in it. He rode the donkey, why? Why represent a donkey? The donkey in the Egyptian scriptures sometimes represents Set.
Yes, exactly.
So Jesus had conquered Set.
Oh,
You see what I'm saying? Representation because he was riding.
okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So as you go through that, that's when they put that in the palm plant, all symbolic. That's what I'm saying. So when y'all think about Easter, it's good to think about everything else, but remember, it's just this right here, the birth of the sun, right? That's it. All right.
Question.
Where the bunnies come in and all the colorful.
Well, the bunnies came from Germany.
Okay.
Yeah, the Germans brought them in.
Right.
Yeah, you was testing me.
That's okay.
No, but that's where they came from, though.
Right.
Yeah, and that's funny though, because in Virginia, I wanted to be a Lutheran because the Lutherans only do this to you. The water right now.
Don't be, right?
No, I was mad
don't.
right. We went to the Lutheran church.
Right.
I want to be a Lutheran, man, because I ain't want to get down. Yeah, the Germans brought that in.
He said keep speaking on the bunny.
All right. See what happens. See, Calvary is the Easter egg company that makes chocolate eggs.
And you know what that chocolate represents? The black man out of ancient Kemet.
Oh my God! The pineal gland, the third eye, and the prostration mark when you eat.
You know, now Frances S. Wilson, she would take the chocolate and she would say during Valentine's Day, that's why the white woman craves what?
Ingested,
Dark
right.
chocolate.
Dark chocolate.
To ingest that
Yeah.
genetic
And you ask
potential.
her what she lack and what type of man she lack.
Tall, dark, and handsome. Oh!
So stand up, brother Chris.
Break it down to Chris.
Yeah, it is.
Baby.
There it is.
Somebody read the book.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Maya.
But it's all good.
Let's talk about the resurrection of a star. Oh, go ahead and get the bill. We went to Wisdom Bay. Go to the bill.
There you go.
Are you ready?
All right, wait for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh dang! Oh man!
That's all right.
So we're gonna bring on this brother. This brother is so powerful. This brother is a spiritual brother. This brother is always on time. You understand? You understand? So we're gonna bring this brother. This brother's actually for real though. He's a beautiful brother. He's always out on the street. If you never met him, I would be surprised. This brother's always out spreading the word. You would never tell when the brother's down because he always has an uplifting spirit about him.
That's
so
right.
what we like to do at this time is put our black hands together. Brother St. Cobra, stop smiling so much, and welcome, brother Winston Clark Bay. All right.
Hotep, cool. I want to first give honor to Amin Ra. I want to give honor to all of the divine powers in the Kemetic system that are plagued as demigods. I want to give honor to the African village in Baltimore under the leadership of Ray Hagan and subordinate study group under the leadership of our brother Osar, brother Osar Jr., which is good to see a father and son combination. That's family. I want to thank the sisters, for being here, because if it wasn't for our sisters, you are truly the goddess.
Yes,
You are the Stargate. And I want to thank my mother and my father, Louise and Robert Parks, and give blessings to my daughter, who's 18, getting ready to leave fashion and design in New York and get ready to go to college. I wanted to open up with a prayer in Spanish. It is the Moorish American prayer. I am a Moor. I don't get caught up in the word black, African. We were called Nubians. We were called Cushites. We were called Dravidians, yo folk, my folk, soul people, everybody folk. We was called so many names. Those who are mature in spirituality know that we're not trying to offend them. It's just the language in which the people speak in. I'm not going to go to Spain or to Latin American country and they say negro, and I'm going to go ahead and just use the word black. They would, because that's not their language. So black, according to science, in the Moore Science Temple, according to the teachings, means death. And what that is just, that's the European description in the dictionary. Black means evil, wicked, gloomy, calamitous. But that is their meaning in the dictionary to confuse us from understanding and overstanding and understanding that when you put a seed in the earth, it germinates into blackness and it shoots up into the light. We already know that out of the from darkness came the light. You know, we already know in the womb, triple blackness. Okay, so the psychology is to use certain words to trick us, so we would go ahead and utter certain words with a meaning, and then we would be cursing ourselves, like what happened yesterday. You know, I'm just going to say this prayer. Dios el Padre del Universo, el Padre de amor, la verdad, el país, la libertad y la justicia. Dios es el protector de mío, la guía de mío y la salvación de mío de la noche de la mañana. It says, God the Father of the universe, Father, Mother, Principal, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. God is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day. You know, and I'm sharing this because lots of times we have this psychology of we getting caught up in words. You know, that it causes a division.
That's right.
You know what I mean? That we have to remember that the word black is not our language. It was a language that was issued by somebody else, and we just happen to be descendants of kidnapped bond people, bondmaids and bondsmen or slaves. So we just taking on a language that we had no choice. But once you go into the understanding and overstanding of what the word black means, the universe is melanin.
That's right.
I mean, the pineal gland produces black substance called melanin. And without that, I mean, you're pretty much done according to the sun. You know what I mean? I want to read out of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And I'm reading this for a reason. Because lots of times there are a lot of brothers that they have a problem with uniting. And see, I'm not caught up in that. I'm you know, I don't get, that's not me, I'm God. Straight up with a small G.
Right.
So, I ain't get caught up in that because right now we need unity. It says in the last chapter, we as a clean and pure nation, descendants of the inhabitants of Africa. Now this is no Muju Ali, Moorish Science Temple, this is the literature. Descended from inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. Neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. While we, the Moorish Americans, the word Moor means melanated person.
Yes, sir.
That's all it means. Doesn't mean that you have to be in the Moorish Science Temple of America to be another word classified as Moor. It was a word that was used to describe our melanated condition, no, not condition, our melanated royalty. It says while we the Moorish Americans are returning to Islam, which is founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. And when we say Islam, I'm not talking about no Arab psychology. I'm not dealing with Arab psychology. You know, praying 5 times a day is a wonderful thing. But I can pray while walking.
Yes, sir.
I can pray on horseback. It says there in the Quran, the Holy Quran, as they say. Horseback, lying on my side, I can pray anywhere I want. But already knowing from the ancient Kemetic teachings, all 3 Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, came from the ancient Egyptians. And I'm just going to say this real quick so that way we'll get a greater understanding. In the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, it talks about chapter 2, education of Mary and Elizabeth in Zone, Egypt, in Kemet. Okay. Elihu's lessons. Okay, that talks about Matheno, the death and burial. Matheno's lessons. Matheno was a sage. I don't know if Matheno was a Greek sage, but he was. It was documented there was a man named Matheno that was and lived in ancient Kemet. And I'm reading these titles for a reason. It says the life and works of Jesus in India. Jesus attends a feast in Bihar. Bihar is in India. And the reason why I'm reading this is because in this book it gives you guidance on where to go. Life and works of Jesus in Egypt. So if it tells me that Yeshua or Jesus went to Egypt and all of these lessons in Egypt, then shouldn't I go study ancient Kemetic teachings? It's a subtle breakthrough. The subtle breakthrough, you know. But those who are not mature in their understanding of self and are still into organizational psychology, they won't get it. They won't get it. So me being here is a blessing, because I need the teachings here to make me more mature when I go out there. Because there's some young brothers out there that are sharp. You know, and I need some information, because they may come with some Kemetic information that'll bust me right on up and come in here, but come back on them with some little something. You know what I mean? Hold on 1 second. Okay, there's a brother out here who's peace. Yeah, there's a brother with all white. You see him? All right, right there, God. Peace. Thank God for a cell phone. You know, I got some young brothers coming because, you know, this is where we are right now. I'm not dealing with the old heads. You want to stay in religion. You want to practice not Islam but Chrislam, you go right ahead. Do your thing. I'm not with you. You know.
Can you talk about initiation real quick and why Jesus went to different parts of the world?
Well, my understanding of Jesus going, it is recorded. I wasn't there. It is recorded that Yeshua, it is recorded that Yeshua or Jesus went to India, Africa, and Europe. Okay. There is a book by an organization called the Ahmadiyya community. Ahmadiyya, this is a Muslim community in India who actually believe in their promised Messiah, whose name was Ghulam Ahmed. This Ahmadiyya community was the first Muslim community and foreign community to come to Chicago and establish the Ahmadiyya community around the time of Marcus Garvey, Noble Drew Ali, and Elijah Muhammad. And they have a book called Jesus in India, which proves in their writings, according to their standards, that Jesus or Yeshua went to India, and he was actually called the Buddha, you know. And there's another book by a woman named Elizabeth Clare Prophet that confirms that book. My understanding of Yeshua or Jesus going to India and Africa and Europe was the sole purpose of uniting their consciousness and bringing them back to the ancient Kemetic teachings that was basically back during the Sumerians, you know, the Sumer, and taking them back to the origin of what it is that God is within. And the purpose of going to these different environments was just the same as Prophet Muhammad, if he exists or not. It's not. I'm not the one to judge. Was uniting the human family, you know, and that was an example of what we have to do. Last Thursday, I was down in Virginia, and Sun Yun Moon turned 90 years old, and I was hanging out with multicultural people with my fez on, representing okay, us, you know, not uncivilized. But that example of Jesus going to the different places according to this doctrine and other doctrines was to unite and to bring on a oneness of consciousness. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. I'm trying to get Poopy or Ray Ray and them on the corner. But let me start my lecture on the Lion King Part 2.
All right.
Okay, the king that was lied upon. That's talking about you. That's talking about you brothers and you sisters. In the Lion King movie, in the beginning, you had Mufasa. Oh, where's that whiteboard? Let me get that whiteboard.
You want the children to come out here and listen?
Huh?
The children?
It's up to you, brother. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the cussing. I don't know. I don't know how I felt. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, because I mean the, you know, because I'm passionate, and we at war.
Their parents passionate too.
Yeah, and we at war. So I don't want to take nothing away from nothing.
Yeah, they passionate.
Thank you, brother. It was Mufasa was the father. Okay? Mufasa, the uncle's name was Scar. Now, how I'm taking this story is on a metaphysical, but internal. Okay? Simba was the little baby child, the baby Haru. Simba. Okay? And his yin balance was Nyla. Okay. In the beginning of the movie, all the animals, I'm just going to be brief, all the animals came together at sunrise, which was the honoring, not the worshiping, but the honoring of the god Amun-Ra. Okay? So the Lion King movie begins with all of the animals coming together at a sacred location, like we are here right now, to give honor to a child that was coming into birth, a Sarah. A Sarah was coming into birth, okay? And they were giving honor to that child.
I don't want to catch you, but there's a lot of people here that don't understand terms.
Okay, Sarah is the son of God. A Sarah is a son of God. That's what a Sarah is.
Is that pronounced Sarah in some sense as well?
I don't know. I mean, I can be corrected though.
No. I think you're good. I think you're right. I think you're right. Somebody else said Sarah, and I thought that it was Sarah. But go ahead.
Yeah, I in my studies it was pronounced Sarah.
That sounds right.
And all of the animals came as a symbolic gathering of all of the forces, all of the creation of humanity and of the animal kingdom came to worship this little child which was a baby lion. And lots of times in our ancient world, we all came to a sacred place. We all had a sacred place that we all meet to give honor. And when this child was taken by a baboon named Rafiki, Rafiki was a Baba. He was a Babalao. Rafiki was the spiritual medicine man. He was the spiritual guru. He was the shaman of the animal kingdom. And if you know about the baboon, the life of the baboons have a more family-orientated lifestyle. If you look at baboons, they love their family, they groom each other, they have more love for them and their family than man has for his. The baboon. So Rafiki lifted them up in the air, and all the animals bow, giving homage. Excuse me. And that is symbolic to us. When you come into your consciousness, when you wake up, you better believe humanity will bow at you, because you've come into your own consciousness, into a higher realm of existence. So your speaking is different. Your tongue is different. Your mannerisms is different. Europeans will bow to you. They'll do a little slight bow. They won't do it all the way, you know, but they'll give you a little nod in the head. You know, people will feel something different about you. You know what I'm saying? Sisters, brothers won't come with that old yang yang, what's up, boy, and all that. How you doing, sister? You know, and that is symbolically the representation of your consciousness being brought, the baby. You know, in a religious sense, he was the baby Jesus. In a religious sense, he was the baby Jesus. He was like a lot of the movies. He was the one to save the world. And the word Simba, actually, if we take the word Simba, actually could mean, Simba actually could mean the word symbol, because him being the baby and he being raised in the air, okay, so all of the animal kingdom can bow, was actually a symbolic meaning of Haru coming into existence. You know, the light, the dawn, you know, because it was at sunrise. You know, so the rising sun and the baby rising sun. So the sun was rising and the baby lion was being raised to the sun, giving offering, like in Roots. If you remember Roots, and he took the child and said, "Behold, none greater than yourself." And that's what I did with my daughter, Saida Nubia. Okay, and all of that is symbolic to giving your child or yourself as a sacrificial altar, you know, as a sacrifice. Okay, now Simba had an uncle named Scar. Now Scar is exactly what his name was. Scar was a disgruntled, angry, resentful state of mind.
Yes, sir.
Scar. In the movie, he was dark, slender, and he was very conniving and deceptive. Even in his voice, he was cynical. And his job was just the same as Set when it came to, as they say, Osiris or Saw. His job was to take Simba and destroy the symbol. So that way, there would be no leadership. Like what we had yesterday at the Brother Apostle Horn's church. You know, we had a Judas. Okay? We had a Scar. You know, someone that proclaimed to love the master, but at the same time, afterwards, just showed us the deception. Actually, he threw a whole plate of food away that I could have took home personally. But when when you're a man of God, and you know, we were there. Sure. Sound powerful. I was up there like I was up in there FOI. Yes, sir. That's right. Come on, come on. But when I saw him throw the food away, and you know, sisters, I don't care. You can be a crackhead, dope fiend in the street. Straight up. 85%. You don't care about nothing else. You cook some food and have somebody throw your plate of food away. That is a traditional honor to eat somebody's food. Otherwise, just ask for a little bit.
Right.
But when you throw a plate of food in our tradition, oh man, total disrespect. That was my first time. You know, that was a symbol. You know, but Scar was someone who was out to get his own nephew. You know, that's why it says in the teachings of the 5% Nation, it says, my uncle does not talk his own language. He does not know he is my uncle. He likes the devil because the devil gives him nothing. Why does he like the devil? Because the devil planted fear in him when he was a little boy. Right. So Scar, in the movie, was trying to plant fear in his nephew. Before he rose into his spiritual maturity, of his kingship, of his leadership, You gotta catch them when they're babies, and that's what they do with you. That's what they do with you. By the time you get to the 3rd grade, they want to go ahead knowing that we, you know, not us here, but a lot of mothers feed their children sugar. And these scientists know the effects of sugar, then they say, oh, they're too hyper. And let's give them Ritalin. But they already had that plan. Because the plan is to destroy you, young people. So Simba's Uncle Scar was meant to scar his nephew. Scar him psychologically. So when he get up to power, he'll have a dysfunctional leadership. Good God Almighty. Well, let me get up in here. The word Simba, because I did the math on it, the word Simba adds up to 35, which actually is an 8. In the supreme mathematics, it's understanding power. Simba was a baby. His job that he was supposed to learn was his rites of passage as a little baby lion coming into his royalty. Like you children, you have to understand your power. So the Uncle Scar wanted to interfere with him understanding his power because he wanted the leadership. And that's what we had yesterday. You know what I'm saying? That's what goes on in you every day. They say you got a higher self and a lower self. You got an angel on this side, your angel, you know, another one on this side. Basically, it's just you have a yin and yang. You have a positive and negative self.
Yes, sir.
You have a Simba and you have a Scar.
Yes, sir.
Mufasa was the father. Now Mufasa when I analyze the word Mufasa, Mu means one. The word Mu means one. And Mufasa was, oh my God, Mufasa, when you juxtapose words, Mufasa was, to me, Mustafa, which means one who is anointed in the Arabic language. Mustafa. We used to say that Prophet Muhammad Mustafa Alameen, according to the teachings of Al-Imam Isa, Al-Hadi al-Mahdi, or what they call Dr. Yor. He was not just Prophet Muhammad, he was Prophet Muhammad Mustafa, you know, the one anointed. And we are the ones that are anointed because Mu means one. And then you have Mufasa, and then you have Mustafa. You just adding a couple of consonants. And Mufasa adds up to, I did the math on that, adds up to 27 in the supreme mathematics and alphabet of the 5% nation. I'm saying this for a reason.
Sure.
Because your brother right here is not just one of these brothers. Just, you know, just going in one doctrine. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the image and after the likeness of the great God, and so are you. I'm just a small G. But Mustafa was the father of Simba, and wisdom, God. He had the wisdom of God because he was the father. Like your fathers. No more than you. Y'all just got here. What are you talking about? You just got here, little one back there. Okay, way back there over there. So our father's job is to what? Master the wisdom of God in order to bring you to a greater understanding of yourself. But this world has caused our children to rebel against the Father. To rebel against Amin Ra. We say it when we make prayer before we eat. Bless this food. Amen. We don't say Amen. You know, change the words, you change the vibration, you change the syllable, you change the, you know, what they call it, the harmonics of it. You know what I'm saying? You change the vibration. So we say amen. So all of a sudden, we lose concept of the Father. Because we already know that the ancient Kemetic history came way before. The pyramids are older than the Quran or Bible. I mean, just plain and simple. I mean, just actual factology. You know? So Simba was to understand his power because his father had the wisdom of God. Which adds on to 9. which was to bring about a completion, his son. His son was about to bring the number 8, which represents infinity, which is 2 circles next to each other, which actually represents 2 cycles, 720 degrees, 360, 360, which is actually the flow of the universe. His son was about to bring, his son was a symbol of what is coming into existence. And the Immaculate Conception. Woo! Sometimes we get caught up with Mary, Miriama, bringing in a child. Every embryo, for the first 3 months of your life and my life in the womb, we are female. What happens in the woman is an immaculate miracle, that something happens in the woman's womb, that a certain chemical is released in her, which changes the DNA to bring a boy. The Immaculate Conception. The Immaculate Conception. That's why when in the Islamic history they were burying the females alive, because they wanted to maintain the boys. You follow me? And why was that? Because they knew they needed to keep the understanding the power. They needed to keep the maleness. They were actually misogynists. Still are today. They're misogynists. You know. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just saying. But Scar, his job was to fight his brother, which was the same battle of Set and Osiris, or Osiru, Asar. It was the same battle. The same story in Cain and Abel. The same story with Jacob and Esau. Same thing. The same fight with Paul and Barnabas. Same battle. It was the same battle. Same battle going on. This was the same battle. Scar adds up to 23, which is wisdom, understanding, brings about power. He wanted the power to interfere with this cycle that was coming. The brother wanted to block his brother from completing the lineal ritual of bringing this little boy into existence. So what Scar did, Scar set his own brother up, caused a stampede. He caused a stampede, told Mufasa that his son was in the gorge, and of course Mufasa, you're gonna save my son, and Mufasa died. I mean, no, Mufasa was murdered, okay? And how he was murdered, he was climbing the rocks, and his own brother saw him climbing, and his own brother watched his own brother climbing for his life, and he grabbed his claws, and he threw his brother. And that is the same diabolical, sick, perverted desire that the enemies of our melanated consciousness likes to see us struggling and squirming, and then finally because there's something in the calcified pineal gland. Damn it, if I can't have the melanin, roar, I'm getting rid of you. Because there's a jealousy when you lack that melanin. They know who you are. They know who you are. This is royalty. They know who you are. So Scar had to fight his brother because it was already ordained. Okay? And Simba was told by his uncle. Check this out. Here's the psychological warfare. His uncle told him he killed his father. The uncle convinced the nephew that he killed his father. Run, Simba, run, run, and never come back. Run! And Simba just ran off because it was natural for him to run off, you know. But as he ran off, and as his adrenaline, I could feel it now, as his adrenaline running, you know, if you're running from fright, the adrenaline, you follow me? As the adrenaline was traveling in his body, the fear, the guilt, the remorse, what his uncle did, he stuck a pin in his head and injected fear, guilt. You killed your father. So while he was running, the adrenaline traveled all through his body, into his muscles, into his pores. The adrenaline and the fear and the anger, all of those thought patterns transferred into his genetic memory. And then he went to a land that was not his own. Just like the prodigal son in the Bible. Just like us. We went to a land not our own. We strayed away from our own original consciousness, and we strayed into somebody else's consciousness, a land not our own. We dealt with somebody else's psychology. In the book of Daniel, we ate the king's meat and drank his wine. In Revelation, talked about, and it says, come out of her, my people. Because we drank of the wine of her fornication. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm just trying, you know, I'm flowing right now, you know. So I'm just saying, you know. So here is the nephew who has been scarred for life. He killed his father. You understand? The king killed his father. Okay? There was some rough guys that wanted the son's throne, which they call the master word.
Who's doing those rough ones?
And these rough guys, okay, wanted to get that master word because that master word brought magic, and it was King Midas' touch. They knew once they got that master word, they will be able to go into any place they want without any problem. But there was one problem. That symbol was given, the master word, by the King Solomon, or the soul of man himself. And it was not to be used until the temple was built. The temple that was made without hands. Oh boy, I'm about to cry up in here. Good
Amen.
God Almighty. What
Amen.
temple is that? It's you, sister. You the master mason. How can you build a temple without hand unless it occurs in the womb? Huh? Unless it occurs in the womb. It says they didn't hear any hammering of nails. When King Solomon's temple was being built, they didn't hear no hammering of nails, no anything, nothing. Why? Because that is a symbolic story of you, sisters. You. They just gave King Solomon, that's just a masculine throw-off piece. The soul of man. In Spanish, the word solo. Soul, S-O-L, in Spanish. In Latin, the word soul means son. Soul, the womb. Ancient Kemet. Womb. Man. Man means what? Mind. You understand what I'm saying? So they had to attack you, master builder. They had to attack you, because a nation cannot rise no higher than its woman. So they had to go ahead and attack you through us. And they buried us in a shallow grave. What is a shallow grave? In the north. What's the most northernest part of your body? Here. This is the north. In a shallow grave. What's shallow? Right back here. They buried us in this part of our brain. And that's why we are barbaric in what we do. We are artificial. Everything we doing. Who is the 85%? The 85% is the poison animal eaters, slave to a mental death and power. People who do not know who the true and living God is, nor their origin in this world, and they worship that they know not. Easily led in the wrong direction, hard to be led in the right direction. 85%. Okay? The back is called the reptilian aspect of your brain. This is called the reptilian part. Okay? And we've been reduced to that. We've been pushed to that state. We've been brought to a shallow grave. We half sleep, half dead. Half alive, half dead. So a master had to come and bring us a grip. But all that goes to ancient Kemet. The master grip was just the higher consciousness or the higher teachings of immortal life. The higher teachings of the resurrection of the dead. Embalming the body was not just embalming the body for decorations. Embalming the body was to keep the body intact for the soul to ascend even to a better place. It was the other people that buried their dead like under rocks and stuff, you know, but the masters knew how to embalm the body. So Simba was already going through a genetic altering while he was running for his life. And the hyenas in the movie, those hyenas represented the little agents that helped Scar. You know them, the little agents, you know them. You know, they the ones that come around and, yeah, I think you should be the minister. Yeah, I think you should run this right here. That's the agents, you know. Yeah, we know what the agents is. Yeah, I'll be with your, yeah, but then when you find the agent is disrespecting the house. And you know what I'm talking about. The agents is causing confusion, disrespecting the mother of civilization, but on the same time, I know I got gifts and talents that I can use that'll razzmatazz you, and I know, Baba, that you probably need some assistance, so I'm gonna just go ahead and be an agent. I'm gonna be a hyena. And you know, hyenas, they heckle. They're little, you know, they nitpick, hyenas. So the hyenas wanted to get Simba too. See, they wanted to get Simba because they wanted to eliminate him totally. The uncle just wanted him out of the way, not knowing that when Simba went into a land not his own, he met a warthog and a prairie dog. Lions eat warthog and prairie dogs. So why would a lion in its natural state hang out with his food? Why? Why would a lion hang out with his food? A lion is carnivorous. Now when they start being vegetarians, let me know. But a lion is carnivorous. Why would a lion hang out with his food knowing that his genetic makeup is to eat meat? And that's because the lion, remember I told you, in his DNA, while he was running for his life, and that adrenaline was going in his blood, and the fear, and the resentment, and the guilt, he was changed from a lion to a cat. Deep. And look at yourself.
Say it again, brother.
Look at yourself. The Moors, the nation, can't even get together. We don't want to get with the African, we don't want to get with the African cultural group. We don't want to get with you guys. You know, you're with Ray Hagen, and we don't want to be, you know. But at the same time, your land is desolate. You know what I'm saying? Living in a desert of your consciousness. But you don't want to unite together. You rather stay in the land of Nod. Having all these divine teachings. And you still sleep. Still sleep. A brother didn't want to go to the corner one day and get to the yo boys. You know, he didn't want to go to the corner. Been involved in these divine teachings for 30 years, you punk. And a punk means a block of wood. A punk in the dictionary means decayed wood. Decayed wood, a punk. A punk. You can't have these teachings, man, and then you don't want to get out there to the brothers.
That's right, man. That's right.
You ain't got to recruit them. Just drop some knowledge to them.
That's right.
Keep it moving.
That's right.
Next thing you know, hey brother, you got any more literature?
Yeah.
You ain't gotta make it. They already. Once you wake up and understand that you are God and goddesses, it'll come out automatically.
Yeah.
Automatically, you just start researching, reading. You just take all that Zane and all. Well, they just gotta go. You might just start selling them for $5, get you, so you can buy your Barnes and Noble's book on, or go to everyone's place. So you'll sell your trash literature to save some money to get some Muwatta Ashby. Because you're awakening consciousness. So Simba was already turned into a cat, the same way that the slave master, the kidnapper, took our power and dominion from us and humiliated us in front of our black, Asiatic, Moorish, Cushite, Nubian woman. Indigenous. I just wanted to give some words, you know what I'm saying? So we won't get confused. We're talking the same thing. That's all it is.
Yes, sir.
So as men, as males, we were stripped. We were stripped in front of you. We were beat down in front of you. And then they made you head of household and took us out. Huh? We were made to cats. We were made into cats. We were put into cats. So when you children are in school and you know the truth, because you know what you know, and you speak it, the teacher will tell you, you need to go to the principal's office. Yeah, you're disturbing the class. We're not here for that. You know what I mean? Because our children in this community are born scientists. Scientists. They're gods. When you speak the truth, you don't hold the truth back. Because you know what happens when you hold the truth back? Man, that thing eats you up. You can't even sleep. You can't even get no rest. So Simba hanging out with his own food. And they convinced him, Matuda Makata? I think it was Matuda Makata. Makuna Matata. You know what I'm saying? It means don't worry. It's all apples. He was a philosophy, Matuna Makata. You know what I'm saying? They repetitively programmed him with their psychology that it's okay. You're not the king no more. You're not heir to the throne, man. It's cool, man. Just enjoy the wildlife. And they taught Simba how to eat worms, going under rocks and getting shrubs.
Right.
A lion eating worms.
Right.
A lion eating shrubs and crickets and all this stuff. So they convinced him, because he was already damaged. The three ruffians. One ruffian hit you in the throat. You lost your ability to communicate with the Most High. You lost the power of the spoken word. You couldn't make nothing. You couldn't decree nothing anymore. You had to go to prayer. Pray. When you was decreeing something, you was making it happen. Okay? So what I'm saying is in this movie, Simba was convinced he killed his father. He hung out with his food. Okay? And then they convinced him to change his dietary plan. Like you would cause to change your dietary plan. He ate everything that was opposite of his divine nature, which kept him further into his own servitude. Kept him further. Eating shrubs and worms and all. I mean, they got protein and everything. But this is the final thing. Rafiki. Rafik in the Islamic world, there's a thing called fiqh. Ra meaning sun or light, and fiqh. Fiqh is jurisprudence or law. Rafiki was the baboon that always had his staff with some I forgot those shaker things, but Rafiki was the one that knew the light of the law. He knew the law of light. He knew about reading your karma, the law of light. He knew about that. Rafiki, I spelled it in several ways. I gotta be quick. Rafiki and then you have Rafiki spelled with a Q adds up to wisdom culture. Wisdom of your culture. Rafiki was the one that kept telling Simba he is his father. You are your father. You're just like him. Rafiki came and found Simba and told Simba. He gave him the wisdom of his culture, of who he was. Each and every one of us represent a Rafiki, which I spelled with a Q. Okay? We all are the ones that give the wisdom of our culture to our people. But because we were lost and turned out, eating the wrong foods, you understand? They have a hard time recognizing us. Rafiki with a K represents understanding equality. He understood the balance of Ma'at. He understood that he needed to get to the son and convince him that he should go back to the kingdom. And then he took his son to the pond. And he said, would you look there? Because Simba just saw his father in the clouds. And his father said, you have forgotten me. He said, you have forgotten me, so you have forgotten yourself. Because you have forgotten me. In the clouds, which represents his consciousness. Then Rafiki took him to a pond and showed him his reflection. And for a moment he saw his father, and then, because of his DNA altering, he said, I ain't believing all that stuff, I'm not my father. But then came Nyla, in my closing. In my closing, then came my girl, Nyla, girl.
Go ahead.
Nyla! Yes, indeedy, sweetie. Yes, indeed. Nyla. Nyla. See, it happens every time when a nation needs to wake up. They'll send a Harriet Tubman. They'll send a Fannie Lou Hamer. They'll send somebody to bring the balance. And Nyla adds up to wisdom culture as well. She had the wisdom of the culture because in you, sisters, is the DNA. In you is the DNA. You are the Stargate. You have the wisdom of the culture. So the adversary has to attack you in order to erase the wisdom of the culture, so then you give birth to these little monsters that we call babies. And the spiritual ancestors are coming in right now in these new babies. And what happens, the mothers have already been tampered and diluted with. So what happens is they don't even realize that he's trying to talk. Oh, he's trying to talk at 1 month. No, it's an ancestor trying to communicate, and you need to talk to that ancestor and let him know what's going on in the earth, what you need to do, and this is where we need to go. You need to fill that child's mind already with what's going on. There's a galactic Earth ship on the planet. It turned 3 degrees. We got some earthquakes going on. But what I need you to do, I need you to do this, da 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 da. But yet we got our sisters who are altered. The wisdom of the culture is locked in you. Rafiki and Nyla worked on Simba. He had the wisdom of the culture. She had the wisdom of the culture. It was the yin and yang force. You understand what I'm saying? was Osiris or Osiru and Isis or Isis to bring Heru back to his kingdom. They both had to work on him. Rafiki was the shaman. He understood the wisdom of the culture. Nyla was Simba's actual other half because they fought. And she, of course, she pinned his behind down because he was a little weakling because he was made into a cat. Someone changed his diet. Someone planted fear in him when he was a little boy. He forgot he was a man. He was a boy. He was born in a cipher and don't know why. Okay? So here comes Nyla, the yin force, to get balance to the yang force. And she convinced him to come back to Pride Rock. And when he came back with a vengeance.
Speak on Jesus.
Just like when you come back. You come back with a vengeance.
Speak on
Just
Jesus.
like in the Bible, it says that when Jesus comes, he's gonna be coming with a sword dripping with blood. And he's not gonna be taking out mosquitoes. Okay? He's coming with a sword dripping with blood, but the word sword means sacred word.
Speak on that.
The word sword means sacred word. The master's word. And that's why we gotta get in gear. We gotta unite. I gotta unite, we gotta unite. We can't get caught up in all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right, distraction.
Somebody wants to go ahead and argue with Ray Hay and all that. All that is an emotional distraction from agents. Keeping us preoccupied. Just like Simba was implanted from his uncle. And then he went astray and forgot himself. So while we are engaging in this emotional, mental masturbation with who is the truth and who's not the truth, right now there's somebody smoking crack for the first time. You don't even know what's going on. Right now there's a sister being date raped right now.
Right. Speak on that.
Thinking that is cool.
Right.
Right now there's someone being initiated into a gang.
Come on.
Okay? That was being used by certain powers that be to cause the division. So when Simba came back, when Simba came back, he took his uncle out. He didn't kill him. He didn't kill him. He did the same thing that his uncle did to him. He banished him. You see what I'm saying? What a merciful God. Merciful. And look at us. You know what I'm saying? We could take this devil out. But what we do every time, we just go ahead and let him go. Only for him to reinforce himself and come back on us. So the movie, The Lion King, the king that was lied upon, is a representation of us coming into our higher conscious awareness and having an agent, family member, homie, stromie, since you know me, want you blow me, person to come and infiltrate their ideologies coming from another source. I don't need to go ahead and kiss no stone right now. I don't need to go ahead and kiss a black stone that is encased in silver and it looks like the vagina, the womb, in a square cube called the Ka and the Ba, soul and spirit. And after studying ancient Kemetic teachings, why am I gonna go ahead? I'm the Ka and the Ba, baby. I'm the Sahu man. What's up? Hey, what's up? Salam alaikum. Yeah, the black man is God. Yes, sir. Okay. So, in my closing again, this movie is a dynamic movie. You know, I'm working on another movie, Star Wars. Yeah, working on Star Wars. You know, and we need to take that Lion King again and realize that we've been lied upon. We have our own negative consciousness that convinces us that we can't get that job, we can't do this, we can't do that, we are not qualified. That is the scar. All of us have been scarred. All of us have psychological issues. Every one of us. So what we need is a balance of the yin and the yang to have wisdom of our culture to bring infinity back in ourselves. Then we'll rise up. We'll take Pride Rock. And Pride Rock if you look at the movie, Pride Rock was in the form of a square. So when we start to understand and understand our Kemetic teachings, and we understand that these groups are religious organizations, get with them. Don't go ahead and get caught up in them. You are the God. And when it's all done, you'll be back on your square. So, as I always leave, I want to say that thank you. I appreciate you. And my last thing I have, this Tuesday, I will be speaking at Christ Kingdom Church. Our one and only Apostle Horn. This Tuesday, April 6th, I'll be speaking on, are you under the ghost spell or teaching the gospel? Okay, and that's going to be this Tuesday, Christ Kingdom Church, 1552 Gorsuch Avenue, and our brother is on the move. I'm here to support you and what we need to do. I'm not caught up in all that other stuff. Every living thing is bound by cords to every other living thing. Peace. Question and discussion, or are we done?
Question and discussion.
Okay, question and discussion. Any questions?
Well, I just like to add to what you said about, let's take it like Osiris, when his body was cut up into pieces.
Yes.
That's the division that you talked about, that we are scattered around.
Yes.
Like division in religion.
Yes.
You have what, Protestants,
Yes.
Lutherans, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even in Islam, you have the Sunni,
Yes.
you have this Muslim, the Nation of Islam.
Yes.
All that is division.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So like like you were saying about the lady coming back, that's when ISIS or
Yes.
Aset
Yes.
went
Searching.
right
For her
with,
husband.
with her husband, with thought to put them back together.
Yes.
You see, but we never got back together. So we are still the Osirian body
Yes.
that is mutilated.
So in a sense, we are still dismembered, and
Yes.
we need to
Yes.
remember.
Like what you saying, forget about what, like Malcolm even said that. If you can go back to Malcolm said for one time, forget your religion.
Yes. Yes.
Because we're not talking about religion, we're talking about, like you said, about the children.
Yes.
And so when you got the bishop, you got a Moore brother here, and you got my aunt here, that's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. So that show that maybe the legs of those Osiris together, maybe we can get the rest together.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Come on, man. I know you got something. Come on, Doc. Come on, hit me off.
Oh, peace, God.
You know I'm talking about, right?
Yo, it's kind of hard because, we come from the same, we've been initiated to a lot of the same systems. I started out as the son of the green light under Said El-Imam Isa Al-Hadi Al-Makti, so I came through the system of being an Ansar, saying I master 120, so it's kind of hard to kind of have really discourse with people that come from the same foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Did anybody not get what I was saying? Did anybody have a problem with when I was talking about the supreme mathematics? No? Did anybody want to add on to what I was saying? Because where I'm at right now is yes, sir.
I got a question. Well, Scar was darker than Mufasa. Do you think that it might have been better if they made Mufasa darker and Scar lighter, just because that would have been representation of maybe the melanin or whatever? Because Scar was darker than.
They had to make Scar darker. They had to make Scar darker, which is the same thing as going to Mecca and kissing a black stone that was made black from the sins of the people.
Okay.
Well, the same way that the Hindus don't get involved, the high class don't get involved with those who are untouchable, which are the darker ones. You see? So in the movie and in other movies, darkness, they have to put the subliminal advertisement that black is evil.
Yeah, okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you can go ahead and absorb that. Absorb that. You know what I mean? But yet the same reptilian reptilian beings want to go and sit in the sun to get a suntan. You understand what I'm saying? So the darkness of Scar was actually a reflection of the darkness of your consciousness. They say in Narcotics Anonymous, you are sick as your secrets. And remember, Osiris went into what? The underworld. You know, the realm of darkness. You know, but in our own consciousness, Scar represents our own consciousness. Mufasa represents our own. Simba. All of those have, just like in the movie Star Trek. James T. Kirk, he was the emotional gigolo. He had green women, blue women, purple women. He was always in an emotional, imbalanced state. Kirk. Spock was Muslim. Spock had to be Muslim, Buddhist, or something. Spock was a guru. Spock was dealing with logic, mastering the emotions. He was in control of his yin and yang. Okay? Yet he was a mixture of Vulcan and human. You know, Bones was a doctor who was disgruntled and angry. You know what I mean? He was a medical, had a lot of medical issues, you know, medical experience, but he was always disgruntled and angry and always complained. Scotty was the drunk Irish that had a lot of understanding of warp drive and mechanisms. You know what I'm saying? Uhuru, or Uhura, which Uhuru means freedom. You know, Uhura, she was the one that was good in communication. Going back to you sisters of the Melanite community. You sisters were always had the power to commune your intuition. So just like in Star Trek, they had that character. Scar had to be dark.
I did notice a few things when you were speaking. I noticed that you mentioned a baboon, and I thought about ancient Kemet as the baboon is the messenger, like Tahu. I also thought of the sun. You know, the lion is the symbol of the sun.
Wow.
So I was just thinking how they know something. And they put it in front of us, like they say in the Bible and other books, is the truth hidden in plain sight.
Absolutely. Now, I didn't know that a baboon in ancient Kemetic teachings represents the messenger.
Yeah.
You know, I did not know
See what
that.
happened? It goes further back. What we see now is basically the early, the late stuff. The stuff, it goes further back where it goes back to even when you say Mu, I was thinking about mother. You know, and Mu means mother, and mother is one. All that comes together. But yeah, the baboon is a sign of Tahuti, and also, you know, the lion represents the sun with his crown.
With his crown. And see, also in Freemasonry, you have the lion, which represents the sun. That's why there's always a sun in the back of the master in the east, because the lion represented that Judah. According to the Bible, or the Helios Biblios, Jesus was from the tribe of Judah, which was the sun. You see? And on the third day, the third day, he rose on the third day, which is, or could be, that he rose up on the third degree of masonry. Okay? When he was, how can you give up the ghost at 11 o'clock on a Friday and 3 days later rise up on a Sunday? No, it's supposed to be Monday morning. See, it's supposed to be tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And Easter came from Paul. It was Passover. It wasn't Easter. It was called Passover. So, if I can get you to eat the wrong foods, like Simba, he was eating shrubs and worms. If I can get you to eat the wrong foods long enough, your genetic DNA will take that information as truth. As truth. I thank God I came 12 years old from the 5% nation. Thank God! because if I would have been in any of these other organizations, I would have been walking around practicing Chrislam, Assalamu Alaikum. You know what I'm saying? 12 years old, I was told the black man is God. My chest went out. I was bold back then. You know, I mean, for somebody to come and say, yo, you God in the project, and then that person had your back if anything went down, and that person actually had your back long enough to protect you while they was teaching you that you are God in flesh, and then you get up and you want me to worship someone else that don't look like me? You know, Muhammad had to be black. How can you live in the desert all your life and don't get a suntan? And Muhammad's lineage was from Yemen. And Yemen are a connection to the Ethiopians. Brother?
Yes, brother. Do you know, like, I'm doing a knowledge on what's called the smart hats, which the persons that produce many of these films, Hollywood, Jubywood, or whatever. Now, who are some of the writers or the producers, if you are aware of this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I never. That's a good research thing for me too, and I need to start doing is the writers of a lot of these films, like James Cameron on Avatar, because he even said himself that he did kind of throw that movie in as like a Michael Moore type thing. He did throw that movie in there to give a wake-up call, or to have a mirror in front of the face of the not as much melanated or the calcified humanoid, a look in the mirror at what you've done, what you are doing, and what you get ready to do. Because they came out with the Avatar right before they invaded Haiti. Some artificial earthquake by heart. But I need to check out those and see the, you know, I did a lecture at the Edmonton Community Center last month on the Book of Eli. Now those two brothers, I forgot their names. The Hughes brothers. They said they didn't even want to do nothing like that. They weren't into all that biblical and all that. But the Book of Eli was a good movie too to analyze, because it talked about a calcified humanoid who wanted the power of the Bible in order to control the people's mind.
Speak on that.
You follow me? The master's word again. You know what I'm saying? He wanted power to control, and he was going to go by any means necessary, and he burnt other books. His little cronies would bring some books, and he burnt those books. But always they use a system to infiltrate, and he sent the young girl to prostitute herself to him to obtain information. Because Denzel, Eli, okay, Denzel, his mission was to take the book from the east to the west. And what does it say? As lightning shining from the east, even onto the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. And that's why the most honorable Elijah Muhammad changed the star and crescent from the light shining from west to east to east to west. Because the awareness is going to start coming from us. The wake-up call is coming from us. So that Book of Eli is another deep movie as well. But did y'all get the part in The Lion King when the hyenas were dressed in a Nazi goose walking? Did y'all get that one? Nobody mentioned that one, huh? Y'all ain't mentioned that one. Did y'all get that?
What's that? Say it again.
When the hyenas, when Scar was in a fictitious leadership, like we are in right now. We're in a fiat leadership, okay? And the hyenas were dressed in a Nazi uniformed goose walking.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
You got the right uniform.
Absolutely. Yeah, I got the right uniform. That's all right, you know.
You looking good.
Yeah, I got the right uniform. But in the middle of that movie, why did they come out with that? Another subliminal plan.
That's right.
Another subliminal plan. Now, throughout the whole movie, all of a sudden, Scar took over the kingdom, and then Scar, all of a sudden, miraculously transformed the kingdom into a military, what they call it, a police state.
Military industrial complex.
In military industrial complex, a police state. While the Lion of Judah is sleeping. And you know the Bible says, or the Helios Biblios said, it said that there's a lion asleep in Judah. Who shall awake him? Because whoever wakes him up, good God Almighty, you better, I don't know, but you better be ready to run. Because when this lion wakes up, yes sir.
Yeah, that's funny you must say that, because the next constellation that is coming in is Judah,
Yes sir.
the Lion of Judah.
Yes
Just
sir.
slept.
Yes sir. And I also want to say, also, if those that can make it, April 18th, I got a sister from Delaware. Her name is Zodiacus L. She is going to be having a class on etymology and biblical astrological science. We're going to have a whiteboard, because I'm not doing lectures. I'm bringing people to come and do a lecture. So if anyone from the African village want to come and do a lecture at where I'm at, you can come in the same way I'm doing here, y'all can come and over there. I'm not worried about anybody else. They had their time. You know, Brother Haki, you know, brother, you know, anytime. You know, y'all want to come. You know, I have that spot from 3 o'clock until me and Grandma Edna. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, me and Grandma Edna. You know, so I'm just extending that invitation. Because right now, only those only those, because you know a lion, you know, a lion has a certain, air about it. A lion can sense when someone is invading their frequency. And since we are all awakened lions, there are those that's going to come and alter our frequencies. Okay? And if you like me, I want you to get the light. And we're going to be wasting our time on those that will listen. They'll hear us. Yap, 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 but it's wah, 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 wah. You got to drop it and keep it moving. Because they are distractions. Like in the Matrix, they are parasites to keep us from our mission. You know what I mean? And that's what I got from the hyenas. Because the hyena and the lions have a balanced relationship. If you ever watch Mutual Omaha Wild Kingdom, a lion is always heckling, a hyena is always heckling the lion. And they work in packs. They work in groups to get one lion. And hold on. Where my lessons at? What does it say? Good God Almighty, where my degrees at? Lord have mercy. Now I'm going to prove to you that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad was not a fool. That man knew something. You know? And you know, I can say this because I can stand on my square. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. I want to go real quick, and I know I need to close up. I want to go real quick. And the reason why I'm saying this is hyenas work in packs. And they work in packs against one lion. And the reason why is because one of us who has a fully, not fully, but even a tenth of an awakened pineal gland. Now remember when I did that lecture Jacob, from Jacob to Israel at your church, brother, at your temple, your holy tabernacle, brother, okay? Now they said, no one has seen God face to face. But if you go into Genesis chapter 32, Genesis chapter 32, starting with verse 22, Jacob, or Jacob, was left alone, and there he wrestled a man. And when he subdued that man, that inner man cheated and hit him in the thigh bone. And he had to, this is the story of Set, Osiris and Set, okay? It was the rising of the sun. He said, you know, let me go and I'll bless you. Okay, you bless me. And he changed his name from Jacob to Israel. That's why those now that are occupying something that they took back in 1947, okay, they're called Israelis. They can't call themselves Israelites. They don't have the light. They're calcified pioneer land. You understand what I'm saying? So they can't call themselves Israelites. No disrespect, but it's the truth. But to Jacob, it says that Jacob saw God face to face, and his life was preserved. That means that his pineal gland opened up. He saw God face to face. His pineal gland opened up. But yet they say you can't see God at any one time. See, that's another slave thing we got. But it says here in the teaching. It says here in the teaching. What is the mental and physical power of a real devil? This is in the supreme wisdom of the Nation of Islam. And remember I said a hyena works in packs. Just one of you, they'll have like 9 police cars. Just for one of you. Yeah. Okay, just one. Because see, right now we get ready to come in. Our melanin is getting ready to go into a shift, boo boo, for real, holy field. All I gotta do is say boom, bring, peace God, yo, brother Curtis. That's all I gotta do now. I can just think you, and you'll call. So we get ready to go to another level. It says the mental power of a real devil is nothing in comparison to that of the original man. He only has 6 ounces of brain, while the original man has 7 1/2 ounces of brain, which are original. See, we've been grafted from the original. Our job is to go back to the original by uniting. By bringing the more science teachings and uniting with uniting with Christ's Kingdom Church, then we bring it all together and we bring one nice plate of food, and then we'll have power. We'll start to go from 6 to 7 1/2, which the planet vibration is around 7 1/2. I forgot what they call it, but the planet vibrates on a 7. And it says the devil has 6 ounces of brain, and they are grafted brain, calcified pineal gland. The devil's physical power is less than 1/3 that of the original man. The hyenas have less power than the lion. The devil is weak, boned, and weak because he is grafted from the original. Therefore, it says, therefore, his mental and physical power is much weaker than original man. But it talks further. It talks further about how there will be 1 to every 11. For every awakened original man, it takes at least, for one of us, it'll take 11 of them. For one of us. Because we have already been transformed to 7 1/2. And that's why they know this. That's why the hyenas are the ones that are coming at us from all sides. They're coming at us from all sides. You know what I'm saying? It's coming at us through the educational system is breaking down. It's gone. Baltimore City community, gone. They took $800 million from the children. 600 children walked to Central Booking last month. Okay? It's called Project Algebra. Done. These young people are off the hook. They are not playing. You see what I'm saying? The educational system, we already know 1933, okay, March the 9th, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, okay, the New Deal, there is no money. Gold and silver makes money according to the Constitution. We are on Federal Reserve notes, which is debt money. Okay? This whole thing with Obama is an illusion. So we gotta make sure that Obama was divinely ordained, you know?
Yes, sir.
So that's why I'm saying to you now that the story of the Lion King was the king who was lied upon.
Yes, sir.
We weren't lied to. We were lied upon. A lie was placed upon us.
Deep.
And that's why people look at us with fear and Boys in the Hood, New Jack City, all of these images, you know, Beyonce going to Indonesia. They told the girl, you better put your clothes on. Put your clothes on. You understand what I'm saying?
Come on.
You know, I'm just giving all that little, you know, y'all sisters know what I'm talking about. Put your clothes on. They not playing. They are tired of this calcified beast. And we got to get in line right now. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Farrakhan already told us. You know what I'm saying? In the teachings of the Moore Science Temple, it's already there. You know, the grateful and a terrible day. It's already upon us. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be aware of the hyenas who have less power than us. But yet because they work in packs, they can distract our senses. You know? So we got to work together to pick them off. That's how we got to do it. You know? And I want to close. Again, I'd like to thank the brother. And peace and blessings.
Thank you.
Right. Oh yeah, one more thing. This is coming up. You can read this. You can read this if you want.
Okay, this is an announcement.
Yeah, that's an announcement.
All right, thank you, Brother Bay. Everybody give Brother Bay another round of applause. We're gonna close it on out. I just went to the Who's Here for another verse, and it says, "Behold, how greatly the people have changed. One who once did not sleep even on a box now owns a bed. Those who once owned robes now are in rags. And those who once did not weave for themselves now own fine linen. Behold, those who once did not build boats now own ships, and former owners just look at them. For they are no longer theirs. Those who once lacked shelter now have homes, and those who had homes are in the blast of the storm. And those who knew nothing of God now make offerings to him with the incense of others." And I just was thinking about Brother Bay and how he basically broke it down. I'm pretty sure everybody got a message out of it. It might be a little different, but I'm saying the sleeping giant that he spoke about is us.
Yes.
So it's time that we wake up.
Yes,
You
sir.
understand? And I'm just going to go ahead and move on. And before I go on with this verse, when me and my father was in Kemet this year, he read the whole book with Dr. Hagens. When we went there, and we actually saw that now. You know, sometimes we think we're so far away from this. This is coming from ancient Kemet back in, we can't even fathom when it was created. So, but when we went to Kemet this year, we saw Lake Nasser. Lake Nasser is a man-made lake in Egypt, and Kemet is Egypt.
Wow.
And it's the largest man-made lake in the world. And there's a lot of things that's covered, that's in the water that we can't even find it, that's hiding all of the